Hey everybody, welcome to the Phantom Zone, where we're going to talk about a metric shit ton of Disney information and a little bit of Spider-Man. I'm
Yep.
your host, Eric Fedorchak, and I'm here with Lewis, Arlen, and once again at the bottom of the list, Hunter, because you can see him from the horizon.
That's true.
Yes.
I don't
And
need
all
to
I
be
have to-
front,
Fair enough.
front and center. Don't need to be front and center.
No, you
All I have to
don't.
say is ducks fly together. The thing we didn't know we needed, but we're getting a
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks. Your favorite movie that's based around a guy doing community service for drunk driving.
I'd say there's a couple. There's a couple of Disney things coming that we don't necessarily need, but we're getting anyways.
That's the thing. I just kind of blanked out on a lot
Yeah.
of the Disney announcements because
There's
my mind
so
couldn't
many.
take all the Star Wars and Marvel stuff.
Are you telling me you're not excited for Sister Act 3?
The what now?
They announced Sister Act 3.
Yes,
Oh
that is
God.
directed by
Whoopi Goldberg.
No,
Nope.
Noah Hawley.
No, it's what's it? Tyler Perry.
Oh,
Wait,
great.
really?
Yes.
So is he going to be a female nun in it?
I would
Probably.
lay money down on that. Yeah, but
He's gonna
yes.
be
I mean,
Medea.
to be fair, this isn't a this is going to happen thing. It's a when was this going to happen thing.
Exactly.
When was he going to reboot the Sister Act? And would Whoopi Goldberg be involved? That was the question. And that's been answered clearly. Yeah, that's the Disney property everybody was hoping for and expected.
Well, I wanted.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean, we pretty much now have a definitive date on when God's love has left us.
Yeah, it's
True,
when
yeah.
it's when the Snyder cut drops. Those weekends, right?
I mean, here's the thing.
I love how we were supposed to start this talking about like Spider-Man and Disney, and we're
I'm
gonna
not-
start talking.
I'm not even gonna mention the thing Lou just brought up because it's just like this can of worms. We'll be here all night talking about it. But
Mhm. Yes, it takes over shows when it comes up. So like,
yeah, and I don't want to talk about it anymore because I honestly don't care. But I am in Spider-Man 3. I am happy to announce that I am in it. I'm playing Spider-Gwen.
Oh, you mean Ghost Spider?
Yeah, Ghost
Yeah.
Spider.
I thought you were gonna be Spider-Punk.
See, I thought about it, but I feel like my acting, more of a challenge to play Ghost Spider. Because me, serious actor.
So you're taking
Right.
the Eddie Redmayne approach, and you're just
Yeah.
gonna start taking roles from female
Yep.
actors.
And I'm just gonna
Right.
do tons of interviews where I talk about it. That's all
Awesome.
I'm
So
gonna
here's the
talk about.
thing: which movie will have more people in it, Spider-Man 3 or Dune?
That's a good question.
I
And
think
how much crossover will there be?
I think the better question is which movie will have more actors that you care to see on the screen together, Dune or
Oh
Spider-Man?
wow!
I'm gonna
Ooh.
be honest. It's probably Dune.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
Dune.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Spider-Man is apparently bringing back all Spider-Man except for old ass Tobey Maguire, and
As far as
yeah.
we know right now.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
I'm really conflicted on all of this. Like,
Mhm.
I enjoyed the Sam Raimi films, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like this is a lot of nostalgia making this decision and not
Mhm.
actual worthwhile choices.
I think what we're going to get is not what people think we're going to get. I think we're going to get exactly what the CW gave us in Crisis, where we're going to get like there's a portal open and then poke your head in and see, and that is it.
I that's the optimistic version of what I would like, at least as it pertains to previous Spider-Man, because we don't need them really.
See,
No, we
Um,
don't. We
at
fucking
all.
don't.
here's the thing. I would be less I'd be more interested in this. It was just Andrew Garfield, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because
You know what? Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's not. I don't hate these. I don't hate the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. I think it's fine. 2, But
No, well, that second one exists in the same place as Pennyworth.
yes,
And
exactly.
Maybe like
It's just a thing of like, if it was just him and just Electro, I'd be fine. Honestly. Like I wouldn't. It wouldn't even.
Yeah.
It'd be
No, I
more
see what you
exciting.
mean.
well, like because the what's his name is Dr. Octopus doesn't even make sense. He's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I was supremely confused by that. Yeah.
We don't know if it's the same Doc Ock too. Is the thing.
I mean,
So are
Yeah.
they just doing Spider-Verse but live action?
I
But
think
less?
that's what they're doing.
So
And
we know that Jamie Foxx isn't the same Electro because he says
We
he's not.
do?
Gonna, I think he did an interview recently where he was like, "I'm not going to be blue this time."
he did
Well,
say
he could
something
have,
to
like,
that
a-
effect.
He could have like something where
Yes.
he's depowered, like he has like a restrictor collar or something on him.
I don't know. Part of me thinks they're not going to want to. Kevin Feige's smart enough to be like, you know what? Let's not.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
redo that.
it could be that they're not the characters from either of those previous two iterations. It could be a different
Yeah.
version of Doc Ock from another dimension, or from it could be the current timeline's version of Alfred Molina as Doc Ock.
It's also, if you look at J. Jonah Jameson, it could be a thing like that where there's just like
Yes.
universal
Well, that's the only like you're like we were talking about before, like actors I want to see. I want to see J.K. Simmons talking to J.K. Simmons
Yes.
as the two
Mhm.
J. Jonahs.
I want Bruce Campbell too. I want him to be there at some
Oh
point.
God.
I want him to
Yes.
be like pick up like the Mysterio helmet and be like,
Yeah.
shit.
I
Like,
mean,
God damn it.
Or I want him to show
absolutely.
up as Mysterio and just be an absolute goofball like you would expect
Yes.
Mysterio to be.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, allow him to do the thing that they were setting up for 3 whole movies in the Rami trilogy.
Excuse me, the who? The Rami Malek trilogy? What?
The Rami Malek.
The Raimi films, you mean?
One villain,
Did
Rami
I
Malek.
did I goddamn stutter?
You said Rami.
You said yeah.
That's
Yeah.
I don't whatever.
Hi, Harlan.
I'm not doing this tonight.
It's me.
I have
How many
had
glasses of
an
wine?
entire glass of wine and I am starting my second, and we're not doing this.
You're a fucking lightweight.
I'm not even. No, this is just me. This is just how I. This
What's
is-
interesting to me to like get
This
us
is
back.
the monster I've become.
What's weird is like we have all these other things from these movies, yet no talk of Venom.
Yeah.
So like,
It's real interesting, ain't
I
it?
am willing to bet money Venom's going to show up in either Doctor Strange or Spider-Man. Like,
More
well,
likely
Doctor
Spider-Man.
Doctor Strange is also appearing in Spider-Man.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Heavily implied and rumored that like Charlie Cox might show up.
Yeah, that's
If the Charlie Cox thing is
Okay,
true,
I want that to be true. That's the only one I want.
yes.
Well,
I mean, I want
imagine-
that to be very true in any context. Anything with more Charlie
what-
Cox.
With the way Far From Home ends, what if he's Peter's lawyer?
I
Okay.
mean, that's a great way. And then at the
Yeah.
very end, he shows up in a new Daredevil costume.
Or like they're in court and somebody attacks and he's just like, and Peter goes to help him and he's like not there, and then he's just like, there's Daredevil. Or like
I don't know if I want that, but
or like
but
you know what I
him
mean? Like
showing-
he's like
wearing
taking
the-
care. Of,
He's wearing the
But
same-
him at the very end being like in a new costume as a way of relaunching the character within the proper MCU, that
think,
would be cool.
I think those characters are coming back. I think that's
might sorry, go ahead, Hunter. Finish.
I think that's a given that those characters are going to come back.
oh yeah, the actors that are available, their characters are coming back, which is basically Charlie Cox and Barenthal.
And Kristen Ritter. She's not
Kristen
really
Ritter, yeah, she'll come
Yeah.
back.
Mhm.
The other main people are all have jobs right now, which is the
Yeah.
problem.
Well, I don't think that they necessarily want Danny back, even
Yeah,
if season
well,
2 wasn't
I was
horrible.
ignoring him, but
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, I mean, it depends on what their strategy is. If it's something like I've suggested where it's just like a show on Hulu, they can have Coulter come in for like an episode as sort of a way of establishing that it's still him.
I want
And
him
they
back
can
permanently.
Yeah, he
Well,
could
no,
be
if he's
on
still-
my-
I'm saying if he's still working on that show, that CBS show that he started is a way bigger hit than I think it should be, or than anybody
Oh,
ever
yeah, I
expected.
Yeah.
It
I want my
seems
big
terrible.
handsome man back. That's all I want.
I've actually seen all of it, and it's not good. It's
And,
not. It's
really
not
good.
awful.
What's
It's
weird
not
is
great.
Misty Knight and what do you call it? Bullseye are on a show together. That's like kind of a hit too.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever.
that they're
I've
like
ever
when I
seen.
saw him in it, I'm like, wait, what? Like, why is he in her show?
I wanted to, before we get too lost in the weeds about what shows the former MCU-ish people were doing, my concern with the new Spider-Man film is
Mhm.
that
Spider-Man.
yes, Spider-Man, James Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Bitter.
Well, I was gonna go. He's a man who goes around spading
Spading.
things.
he's
So
a Moylan.
it's Bob Barker's like alter ego.
Yes.
With them potentially, I mean, all signs seem to point to this happening using the multiverse in the
Mhm.
Spider-Man film. I worry if this comes out before the next Doctor Strange that it not detract from Doctor Strange's use of
It's
it.
not
but
though. We
but
already
it-
know that.
but
I'm not
I feel
sure.
like Sony is gonna be like, oh, well, we did multiverse first. Brr, 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 brr. Like,
I don't. Here's the thing.
I'm with Arlen here on this.
Before the whole we're falling out, we're not doing things together anymore.
yeah,
And before the whole Tom Holland calls Bob Iger in the middle of the night crying thing, before that, I completely agree with you. Yeah, it might be that type of thing. Now in this new world where they seem to be much closer than they ever have been in terms
Yeah.
of like cooperation, I'm like, I feel like they're planning things. They're
Oh.
thinking about these
Oh, they're
things
actually
and talking
working
to each
together.
other.
Okay,
Right, you know, they're
like,
doing their
that's-
jobs.
instead
Which
of
is-
reacting to each other.
I
All
wonder
Right.
if that's why Tom Holland's starring in their video game movie that they're
Yeah.
making.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I'm
'cause, I
gonna.
mean,
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well,
Arlen.
I'm looking at the schedule. I wanted to see when the two movies are. They are right next to each other.
Well,
Spider-Man is the movie right
lead-in-
before Multiverse.
But the lead in
So-
Spider-Man's not even the first, because I would bet all the money that WandaVision plays with
Yeah.
it first.
I know, but
Yeah.
I'm saying in terms of like back to back. So Spider-Man Far From Home sequel, whatever it's going to be called, We're Back Home, something to that effect, coming out December 17th, 2021. And then give me just a second and I will have Doctor Strange, which is
Arlen's
coming out
favorite film
March.
series.
Yes. Here's the thing. I'm probably going to love the second one because I've loved everything else with Doctor Strange since that first movie.
Yeah.
Also,
Cassie
Sam
Lang.
Raimi.
Yeah.
is
So
interesting.
yeah, March 25th, 2022. So it's 3 months to the date between that Spider-Man and Multiverse. So you can bet your ass that the end post-credit scene is going to be setting up Multiverse Madness. So yeah, like I think that they're gonna talk to each other and they're gonna think about these things a little bit more.
I just had a terrible thought.
What?
What if Spider-Man ends with Morbius showing up?
Oh no!
And that's how they set up
You-
Blade.
Hunter, I literally forgot that movie existed until
know.
you just said the name.
Why did you say those words out? Why did you say those words?
You're now gonna get a Sony Xperia that has a bunch of little holes in the back sent to you.
Well, there was recently a trailer for, I want to say it was Korea. I think South Korea, that dropped that Jared Leto did an intro for, talking about how much he loves Morbius' story from the comics and blah blah blah.
I'm sure he does.
Because he's
Yeah.
super emo. He's the emo king.
And just, it was showing apparently some new footage that wasn't in the prior trailer, but from what I could see, it wasn't much of a difference. But yeah, I think that might be why Morbius is back potentially in the public unconscious, I guess, for lack of a better term. The
Right.
zeitgeist. It just
I hope
But
Blade opens with him decapitating Jared Leto.
yes, that would be
That would
awesome.
be.
That would be phenomenal. But yeah, I
And he just says like a one-liner like, "You're the
Some
worst at telling jokes."
some motherfucker always trying to
but yeah, with Spider-Man potentially unleashing the multiverse, I don't know. Like I'm worried that they're introducing a lot of things in this, and based on some other news that dropped from Disney, they're not going to have the same guy directing this potentially after this film. Like, what's going to happen to Spider-Man when they don't have the same director anymore, who's made the last two very, very good?
That is a concern. That is a very good concern to bring up.
I don't know. I feel like with the multiverse thing, it's a really good way to bring in elements that we don't have already, like the X-Men and shit, and like time
Well, and yeah,
stuff. It just they're setting themselves up to like expand the MCU. That's what.
Yeah. And I would say, Eric, to your concern, I don't know if there are plans for Spider-Man movies past 3, as opposed to making him like the leader of a new Avengers team.
Right.
Like, the older guy of a young Avengers team.
Right. I mean, if we take the first 3 phases of the MCU into account, we had a large Iron Man presence even after Iron Man 3. A huge Iron Man presence. He's in he's in multiple films. In many of them, he's the second lead to the main character. And you could argue, some people in Civil War, that he's the co-lead with Chris Evans. So I think that if he's taking a similar a role there, and he's going to be in other people's movies as sort of a buttress, much in the way that Downey became.
and a character can kind of play both Tony and Cap.
Yeah,
he can, but then I feel like I don't know if Marvel wants to give a character that they don't own outright.
That's
film
fair.
rights, that is that big a role.
That is fair. But
which is why I think he'll be paired with another character. I think that they will account for that.
It'll be a Hulk thing where he's like,
I mean, right. Depending on how things go with the actress playing Shuri, and how that all works out, I wouldn't be surprised if she became that other person there, in case Sony decides to pull on the latch and take Spider-Man away. That person who they picked in that role might change again.
Well,
we also have a bunch of other characters that they announced that are going to be showing up in the 8 billion things that we haven't even gotten to.
Yeah,
that could be all these things.
It's crazy.
Yeah. There's a million and one things. So I don't know who wants to start. If you want to,
can we?
That's a good.
Because like I feel like that's the biggest one out of all.
I think that's the most important thing to bring up too, because that ties directly into what I was saying. Because the director who I forget his name, the guy who directed Far From Home and
John Watts, is it?
Homecoming. Yeah,
yes.
John Watts. He's being given the keys to Fantastic Four, which I think is perfect.
I 100% agree.
Yeah. If they're not going for like a crazy big name director, if they're just going with people who they've worked with before, perfect. Yeah. Absolutely perfect.
Also, like his tone in those 2 movies, especially the first Homecoming, of like the idea of like kind of making it a smaller movie, and it's very like family oriented. Like in all the characters is what we have never gotten. Yeah. In any Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah.
I still hope that they do the family out of time. That's what I'm looking for. And I would personally love if the kids are already existing when they show up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how deep into the Fantastic Four lore they want to go for the opening gambit. Like,
I don't know. It would be fun to me if like they show up and like Franklin and Valeria are toddlers or like 7, like 6 or 7.
My
Like,
only concern with Valeria is if they would try and explain her backstory. Mind you, they wouldn't have to do the exact same thing, but that requires a whole lot of heavy lifting to get to the point that you explain how Doom was directly involved with her birth and yada yada yada.
I think
Right.
you kind of like can't, like, you just maybe ignore all that and just be like,
Yeah.
you maybe just like, oh, they're twins,
Yeah.
and one's a super genius and one's a powered
Another
being.
super genius. Yeah, I
A
mean,
super genius, but like god, like
Yeah.
biggest, bomb waiting to explode at all times.
yeah, that could tie into the mutants thing. Yeah, I don't know though. Part of me doesn't want them to even have the kids involved in it at all. Like I
don't
want it to
think you
just
should
be
do
the
the
core
kids for a
four.
while.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's been how many? There's been like fucking 3 Fantastic Four movies, right?
Yes.
So
Not counting the Corman one, yeah.
I feel like if you were to drop the kids into the movie, everyone would be like, "Who the fuck are they?" Like,
Yeah.
dark.
Well,
like-
and it could change the tone dramatically on what they could and couldn't do.
See, but that's the part where I think that would be interesting, because we really haven't had any of these films that have any sort of casting of young kids besides the first Ant-Man.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
And they just don't exist. There, you have Tony's daughter in Endgame,
Mhm.
and like it adds a level of like what do you call it, like things that like not circumstance, consequences to like everything if there are like kids. And
There is, but I don't know. And I mean, it's not that the Fantastic Four have ever been like these aren't your parents' Fantastic Four. Look at him, look at Sue Storm naked. It just,
well, she did have the boob window.
She did. And that was after she lost a child, I believe she did that, and after Reed died. I don't know. Like I don't get me wrong, I would love to have Franklin and even Valeria on there, but I feel like if you're going to be introducing a lot of people to live action Fantastic Four from the MCU, so let's just say for the first time, essentially, I think putting children in there would muddy the waters.
I feel like it's too early.
Yeah.
Okay.
Way too early.
Yeah. I think it's too early to have them be on screen.
Also, there are no mutants in the MCU, so like
yet.
I think it would, yeah, exactly. But it would be like it made more sense to me to introduce Franklin and Valeria after they introduced the X-Men.
Well, I guess my thought is that like with also having Kang in Ant-Man and Wasp, like he's tied into the Fantastic Four and he's very tied into mutantdom. If they showed, especially in my mind, if it's the family out of time and they pop out and they have kids, it would be interesting moving forward to have they're the people out of time, but their kids are modern. And that would be a fun dynamic.
Yeah, maybe.
Just,
here's the thing: we just don't know what their version of the Fantastic.
Oh, we have no idea. All we have is like a logo and a director.
I'm just to be perfectly honest with you, though, I'm just thinking in the headspace of like, what if I was a director making this movie, what I would do, and it would. I don't think I would do that.
Yeah. I guess my like where I was saying is like, did I think we would be getting a third movie starring a raccoon and a talking tree?
Yeah.
And several spin-offs of that?
In a holiday special?
Sure.
And a holiday special?
Lou, that's a fair point, but we did not have Cosmo the Space Dog on the team in the first Guardians movie.
We did.
He's in the movie, but he's not on the team. He's not there in that final dance-off. So, like, I think it's just measuring your expectations is all I think we're saying. Like, there's no reason that they can't make reference to things. We don't know what the version of Kang is. I still say that it might be a Kang who's very early in his own timeline, so he might not even be a true blue villain yet. In
the literal
maniacal and but it could be the classic Kang from the comics, and he might reference the Fantastic Four, and that might be the first time that we hear them mentioned as a way of establishing that they're in the timeline already.
Isn't the name of the new Ant-Man movie Quantumania?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously they've already made lots of references to quantum realms and whatnot, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the Fantastic Four get pulled from.
Yeah,
And
I completely agree.
And I could see them working a child aspect in there, but for me as a viewer, and once again, I don't know. I mean, Marvel has yet to really disappoint me horribly, except for Captain Marvel, because she frowned at press junkets and wanted people that weren't white to get better
I
jobs.
thought she's getting recast as Gina Carano. I just thought of something. What if we get the whole Fantastic Four movie, and at the end we find out Sue's pregnant, and being in the quantum realm or wherever, like, may affect and make the kids what they are.
That would be perfect. I think that would work really well.
I solved it. We're all happy.
Yep.
I mean, we don't know anything. That's all we're saying.
And if Infinity War and parts of Endgame showed us anything, is that taking from Hickman is the smartest thing they can do.
Well, and he's the biggest name at the company right now.
And his run on Fantastic Four is chef's kiss. Beautiful. It's so good. It's so good.
It, but I know I won't be able to find it.
What you need to do
that they know is good. They're good.
You need to go and you need to get all the X books, because Ten of Swords, which just ended, is fucking bonkers.
Yeah.
There's a giant fucking crocodile.
Yeah, he's got a sword, doesn't he?
Yeah, well,
he is the sword.
With the Hickman run on Fantastic Four, like it has all that family aspect, but it also does hard sci-fi really well. And the other thing with Fantastic Four, so we can move on to other stuff, is my loins ache so bad to see Galactus represented properly on screen. I can't even describe to you guys how much I need that.
We all know it's happening. Like, it's gonna happen.
He's like the perfect big event movie villain. Like, he's
the next step up of Thanos. He's below.
The fact that they're doing the Watcher in that What If series tells me that we're this close. We're not far away.
Which, and again, I will say, if we're building up to him, what better character to have, like, kind of popping up, like, as we build to him than Franklin?
Yeah.
Like, those two characters are so tied together at this point.
They are in a lot of ways. I
think I'm just being a nerd because I like Franklin as a character.
Yeah,
that's fine.
My thing with Galactus is, though, I don't think he should work as the big bad. I think he should be a force of nature that is potentially being controlled by someone who is seen as the big bad, which could be Doom.
Someone in a metal suit,
Doom or Kang or whoever. Yeah,
and we could see Doom pop up in another entry that was announced too, which would be interesting.
And what was that? Go ahead. I'm not gonna.
I would think he would be interesting in Armor Wars.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
He would be.
I'd like that.
Which is one of the 12 TV shows for MCU that got announced.
I mean, more roadie stuff. I think
it's a TV show. So
I like Rhodey a lot.
I like Don Cheadle.
Yeah, because there's basically 2 Iron Man spin-off shows that got announced, because it's his show and then the Riri Williams. Yeah, Ironheart.
I feel like those are going to connect very heavily. They're going to. I feel like one is going to lead directly into the other.
No, I guarantee you, all of the Marvel TV shows are going to connect. Outside of this initial batch that we've been waiting, what feels like forever for.
I feel like it's a good thing.
Well, even this initial batch, I think a lot of them will connect. I think What If is the real outlier here.
What if it's just a fun thing?
What if is just an excuse for them to do stuff that they wouldn't be able to film with modern special effects? Like a lot of it.
But a lot of these, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's also like all the stuff that's just like fan service, but in the best way.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. But like even with that said, Loki could lead directly into one of the What If episodes easily, based off of what we know about Loki.
Yeah, that's talking about multiverse. That's that entire show.
My thing with Loki is, I think it's going to be, fun madcap romp for a while, but and this is just a random guess. I think the last episode is going to be him realizing he needs to go back into the timeline that he was in and accept the fate that's coming for him. And that might explain why he has the change of heart, like going forward, because he's learned all of these lessons through being in the show. And it's going to be a way to be like, all right, you had fun with him this one last time. Game over for Loki. Because, I can't say
Owen Wilson is in the MCU.
Exactly.
Well, he had to one-up his brother.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like, oh, you're going to be on a DC Universe show? Cool, bro. You're going to be on CW now? I'm going to go fucking be in the MCU.
I'll be on Marvel. Bye.
I'm going to hang out with Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look like John Slattery.
My thing is with, I think a lot of these shows, the initial ones, like WandaVision and whatnot, they're going to be lead-ins to other movies, but I think they're also a way to be like, hey, you get to say one last goodbye to some of these characters.
I think I don't want to like go too off into the weeds here, but like Moon Knight, like for example, like that could be like a perfect way to introduce like a sort of street level version of the MCU.
I mean, they don't. Like, that's what I said earlier in terms of reintroducing Matt. Moon Knight is a great place to reintroduce Matt.
Yeah,
or Barenthal.
Yeah, like they're all characters all interact in some way.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, just basically would also be a great place to do it, seeing as she is a lawyer.
You have a montage of like everybody saying "Get the fuck out of my face" to Moon Knight. You're fucking crazy.
Well, and I think going back real quick to Spider-Man, while the idea of Matt Murdock being in it, I don't think showing him as Daredevil would be a good idea, because I feel like Marvel wants to premiere Daredevil in something that they wholly own. Like, I understand the idea that Sony and Marvel are probably working much closer together than they used to, but I still think Marvel's like, hey, we've got the real keys to the kingdom here. So
I don't think that they would put him properly in a movie. That's why I was saying that earlier.
I think
the post-credit scene, because the post-credits are just different. They film those differently. They film those long after the movie is over. So having Sony be like, we don't know what we want to do for the post-credit. Do you have anything? And they're like, we got something. And
I feel like Matt would be like Matt and John would be like a good setup for like Marvel Knights, just making them like a team where it's like this is the street level, like these are the people who deal with like Kingpin or like the Hood and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, what else did Marvel bring up of it
I was gonna say, we talked a lot about Doctor Strange, but we didn't talk about the big announcement for that movie, which I guess there was two. There's Rachel McAdams is returning, but like they're adding in America Chavez to that movie.
It makes sense.
I was like, wow, they're calling their shots early, because that is a
but like this ties into what I said earlier about like we are building up this Young Avengers team.
No Patriot, though.
Also, to be completely cynical and business minded, they'll be hitting a few different what's the word I'm looking for here? Demographics. Thank you. By having it's like Latino gay woman. Movie. Yeah. Right. Like having a gay Latino woman will be, or Latinx, whatever the phrase is. I can't keep up. Having those two demographics is just like Marvel going like, oh
well, because they can't make Ghost Rider canon for some reason.
That was the one that like they didn't make. I guess that's officially dead.
Whatever,
because it was a show, and then they were like, he said it might be a movie, and then they've never talked about it again.
See, I don't think that character will stay dead for long, because
he's too big.
No, that character won't. But like, I don't think that this is Uncle Kevin's decision.
No, that feels like totally like Disney Plus is here. None of this is happening.
Yeah,
because it would be a Hulu show, which none of the stuff for MCU is.
Well, I just mean bringing that character back. I don't even mean the show. Like, I don't care about the Hulu show they were doing. I'm just saying having that character made officially part of the movie canon.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
specifically Luna, like the Luna version.
Like with Blade being a part of the MCU, they now have they essentially open the floodgates for that character and every other.
Well, maybe that's what
I agree.
I wonder if maybe he pops up in there, which Mahershala Ali and Luna would be a very fun team.
Yes. Well,
Yes.
it's oh, go ahead, Arlen. Sorry, you keep
No,
getting
no,
set
you.
going. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was just saying yes. So you go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, no. What I think, and this is based on no evidence whatsoever, but I think if Marvel is going to do an idea like they have with Blade coming out, what'll happen then is they'll have other movies of a similar theme or ilk to go with it. So that would be the perfect time to be like, hey, Blade's coming out and Moon Knight's going to be on whatever, Hulu or Disney Plus, and have like kind of mystic / street level characters coming out around the same time. Because this next chapter in Marvel, I thought was supposed to have more cosmic stuff, was the original plan before James Gunn got fired and then rehired. That was the original
I think
plan.
The original plan was like 4 different levels.
Okay.
It was a space level, which James Gunn was going to be the Feige.
Yeah.
I'm saying that right.
Yeah, they said that. They confirmed that, yeah.
Yeah, and then it was going to be, which he might be back there again. And then there was...
I think he is.
Given at this point, is he's going to
that.
I think it just got pushed back. I think it just got pushed way back.
Yeah, because that's where Guardians and Thor and if we get like Captain Marvel would probably end up in there and some other stuff. One of the TVs, like the Secret Invasion, which we probably should talk about more. But like then there was like the Avengers like worldwide level, and then there was like street level, and then the Supernatural would kind of float between the two of those.
See, but
like
that's
Strange would be like the global level, and then Blade would be the street level.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, I understand doing it that way, and that's, you know, that they've probably done all of their research and everything, and that makes sense. But for me, if I was in charge of the MCU, I would try and phase it out like, all right, we've got these similar themes with these movies. These are getting released around the same time. Work them together. We've got this theme going on, the Supernatural. Let's release this, and this together at the same time. But it makes sense to have a multi-layered / however you want to look at it. It's a layered sandwich, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah. If it, like to your point, Eric, for what I would do something similar where it's like these movies become almost genre movies where like okay, so Blade is like your horror monster movie type thing, so we have that going, and then you kind of like street level and then cosmic stuff, and Avengers are their own thing because like people are
they're the ones. They're exactly, they come in to clean up the big mess.
I think you get some of that in their descriptions of some of these shows and movies, because Loki, part of the description is that it's a thriller.
Well, but I can see that just because he's going through time. I mean, hell, the end of that Loki trailer was him as DB Cooper. Like,
you have that, and you also have him running for president, maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, it had Control vibes, and I would describe Control as a thriller, despite some of the bonkers imagery.
And I would say WandaVision might be a thriller based on what we're seeing.
Definitely has some like horror-esque elements, like horror adjacent elements with some of the imagery we were seeing in that. And it makes sense because I mean it from all things that were leaking / rumored, it's about her kind of losing control of her powers, and that's a terrifying fucking idea if she's going to be on the same level as the comics Wanda.
And at the same time, the second trailer may show that like she is already somewhere. Like she seems to be in a place.
Yeah.
Right, and they seem to be confirming the theory idea that she's trying to do something with the Mind Stone based on how much we see of it.
Well,
which
I'm
kind of is interesting.
Go ahead.
I was going to say it's sort of support to the theory that I don't remember who said this first, that the stones maybe aren't actually gone, that they sort of made themselves appear to be gone. They sort of, went into hiding, went into the ether or something.
They're like, they are the universe. Like, they can't be destroyed.
I mean, it's with WandaVision, an idea is that she's kind of created a bubble and of sorts, for lack of a better term, and it's shield of some sort. And I saw Kat Dennings briefly in the one trailer. I'm wondering if like they
Well, and
realize. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah,
No.
it's Captain
well, and Monica Rambeau shows up.
Yes.
Yeah, and what's
she's
his
the one.
name is replaying a character that's an Agent of Shield.
Oh, okay.
Martin
Okay.
Freeman?
Oh,
The
No,
show I never
no,
watched.
the Korean, the guy from Fresh Off the Boat.
Oh, Cho, right? No,
oh,
not Cho.
What's his
yes.
name?
Fuck, the principal.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm wondering if she's created some sort of bubble of reality that she has
Yeah.
all control over, or that she kind of did instinctually to protect everyone around her. And that's why like people know who it is, because you know there's a point like, Wanda, can you hear us? We're trying to get in, or something
Yeah.
along those lines was over the radio. So I'm wondering if that's going to be part of the element of her like not having control completely.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Lou, you had said about Secret Invasion. Which
Yeah,
we should
so
talk
well,
about.
just to tie in, because like we have Monica Rambeau in there,
Mhm.
we have Captain Marvel the 2, and when we get in Captain Marvel the first one, we're getting a spin-off, which is also a show, which I kind of like that there's most of the stuff is shows, because I'm
Yeah.
all for these long format things.
Yeah.
And we have Return to Samuel Jackson and what's his name playing Talos. And Secret Invasion,
Mendelssohn.
is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
To be
I wonder.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I wonder how much they're gonna stick to the original Secret Invasion. And how much.
I think this will be a way for them to show a lot of characters that people have wanted, but not have to commit to actually doing anything with.
Yeah,
Like this will be a way to show, like, I don't know, Werewolf by Night or somebody like that. I know you want that. I know you do. That's why I said it.
I think this is going to be what Age of Ultron was, title-wise, where it's they taking a cool title from a comic and not actually doing anything with it.
Yeah, that's also a very real possibility.
It would be fun if this is like if it's Fury and the Skrulls against a different alien race that's doing a secret invasion.
Oh, the Chitauri.
Sure. That could be something.
The Brood.
That could, yeah.
They own Fox now, so they can't get sued for ripping off xenomorphs.
That's true. That's true.
I do like the idea of the Skrulls doing a wacky like invasion of Earth, where they're just really bad at it.
Yeah, I mean, that is the thing. They've introduced the Skrulls as sympathetic characters.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it could be something as goofy as the Badoon or something along those lines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and
they have been rumored to be in a bunch of stuff for a long time, and this never showed up.
Well, James Gunn wanted to do the Badoon, but he couldn't get them.
And didn't someone do like a really cool Skrulls book a little while ago?
I don't know.
Oh, are they going to do the Skull Kill Crew, do you think?
Oh, yeah, the Grant Morrison one where they get turned into cows at the end.
Yeah.
God damn it. God fucking damn it. There's a lot of places to go with the Skrulls.
They did. It's called Meet the Skrulls. It's kind of like the Visions, but it's Skrulls, and they're like it's like the Americans, but they're Skrulls.
That sounds inherently goofier.
Yes.
No. Back to a point I wanted to make when we were talking about Armor Wars a little bit. I could see Armor Wars and Secret Invasion tying in really well with a few of the newer like isn't there going to be a Ms. Marvel TV show as well?
Yes, we got a teaser, not a teaser, like a
behind the scenes preview.
We got a couple of shots that are filmed, like 2 or 3, and that's it.
It's. I mean, straight off the bat, like I tried reading the Ms. Marvel comic and I just couldn't get into the art. So I couldn't I couldn't disconnect myself enough from the art to actually enjoy it, even though I've heard it's really good.
She's a very fun character.
Yeah.
I've liked her appearances in other books as well. Like she's in that Howard the Duck book that they did quite a bit.
She's kind of like why Spider-Man as a teenager is awesome. She's just a new version of that.
That brings me back to a point that I made about Spider-Man earlier. If they are parting ways with the current Shuri, I could definitely see Kamala, depending on how people react to her, being sort of the new lead of all the shows, because she kind of fits with what they're doing with the current people being in the Avengers sort of group being kind of younger and less experienced.
Well, that's going to rely on the public, a large portion of them getting off of their Islamophobia.
Right?
So yeah, that's going to be.
Well, end up being more comfortable with women in general.
That too.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
Well, she's Earth based mostly, so it's okay.
Yeah, but she's not human, technically.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean,
how are they gonna deal with that? Yeah. Go ahead.
The reason I bring that up is they're setting up Ironheart, Ms. Marvel. If Shuri remains a thing, Shuri will probably be taking over the mantle of Black Panther.
Oh, of course.
If all three of them end up being in a new Avengers type team, that's like, and assuming there's only two other guys other than Spider-Man, that's a big assumption though. And maybe even Haley Steinfeld as another member. That's a very female Avengers team. So we'll see how a certain segment of audiences reacts to that.
There's literally like, there are no, like, all the legacy type characters who are being introduced are all female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, America Chavez too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm curious if they do like Hulkling and like Wiccan and Patriot.
Well, his mom showed up in Age of Ultron.
Yeah. So
she did, but I think that was more just a
just a throw. It was definitely
service thing.
It was definitely a throwaway thing, but like, of all the characters that we've got, like, no one's made so we have like a Latino character, female character, we have a Muslim Pakistani female character, we have possibly two, like a Black American female character, young superhero, African female superhero, a young white female superhero. Like, it would be interesting to do an Asian hero. It would really kind of.
Shang-Chi.
I mean, yeah, Shang-Chi's coming out, and there'll probably be a black, or not a black, an Asian female character in that.
Excuse me.
But I mean, like, for the Avengers team specifically, like,
yes, yeah, they can easily set one up. So, yeah.
Although it would be funny that there's like, it's a team made up of like 5 super geniuses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like, it's their secondary power, and they're all just like stare at each other. Because
the problem with that is it just, it just becomes
smartest person.
Right. It just becomes smart people having smart person arguments, which is always fun. That's always just the best.
Things would end terribly because it would be a bunch of little Tonys just like, hey, we should do this.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Yeah, let's do that. End of the
We don't need that. We're already getting
which is why I do think that the sort of older Avengers characters will probably have a presence just to offset some of that. We'll see. I mean, they might do like a West Coast Avengers type thing where there are multiple teams.
Oh, give me Wonder Man. They've teased us with it for years.
Yeah,
I mean, I just want to go back to the Helen Show thing. This is a theory that I came up with listening to a podcast about Age of Ultron. I think that she's there because in a world where Joss Whedon didn't just like bow out of the MCU completely, I think she would have been a bigger deal. In the world where he does the next 2 Avengers movies, I think that was set up. But he did bow out and seemingly just,
and we're all better for it. So.
Yeah, we are.
I mean, I do agree.
I think there's one other character, like new big name, that got dropped that we didn't talk about in the Falcon Winter Soldier.
Wait, what?
Who did they drop in that other than the fact that it's actually done? Like,
Echo.
Oh no, that's Hawkeye.
Oh, that's Hawkeye.
Yes.
No, she's in the Falcon Winter Soldier trailer.
No, that was somebody else wearing that mask because Echo was specifically seen during the Hawkeye filming. Like
there is a character with a mask that has
with a hand on it. But I'm telling you, man, Echo is specifically showing up in Hawkeye because an article I was reading was talking about how Jeremy Renner was seen on set with an earpiece in to be a representation of the fact that Hawkeye has hearing loss in the comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who the hell is this character?
I don't know.
I mean, it could be set up and
because it's a woman with a mask that has the handprint on it.
Yeah, I know, but
It could be literally any Captain America character.
exactly,
Yeah.
because
Like,
it's
there's so many.
Hawkeye show will introduce Daredevil character Echo to the Marvel universe. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
which also ties in a lot more that maybe Charlie Cox is back.
maybe
Sure. I mean, they
looked
could just
up-
be using Daredevil characters. I mean,
could be, but I mean,
actress is saying that is kind of hinting that that's what's going to happen.
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it makes sense because that is where, mind you, Echo does have connections to Ronin because she was Ronin initially before Hawkeye was, but it would be a disservice to her character to not have Daredevil show up somehow back in the MCU at this point.
Yeah.
But I mean, besides that, I'm happy that Hawkeye is still actually happening because it seemed like it wasn't for a little while there.
Yeah, and they're
Well,
filming
yeah.
it.
For
Yeah.
real.
I mean, I don't really give a shit about Jeremy Renner, but I'm glad to see Haley Steinfeld is getting work. And
And
I mean,
Kate Bishop is
yeah.
beloved.
yes,
Like,
Kate Bishop is awesome.
Yeah.
I did not. Did you guys know that George St. Pierre is coming back for Winter Soldier Falcon?
I think I had heard that. I think I
Really?
read that somewhere.
Yes, as Batroc the Leaper.
Is he
I
going to be
think it
wearing
was-
the goofy ass costume?
I
I
hope
think that was
so.
almost on a new show. I think I cut it because it had happened like a month before.
Because I'm trying to find out if anybody's posted who the character is in that trailer, and like that came up, I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Like it's a woman, right? Who's wearing the mask?
Yeah, it's a woman. Which I know the actress that's playing Echo is
Okay.
she's
Actually-
Native American and she is actually deaf.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah,
on the
no,
whole
it-
on the whole mask,
okay.
there's also a dude in the trailer wearing a similar mask. There's
Mhm.
multiple people
Wearing
wearing
that
these
mask.
masks.
Yeah.
So it could be set up for something else. It's a similar thing to the fact that they had a guy dressed up like Slade and Arrow who was not Slade long before Slade
Oh,
showed up.
Wintergreen? Yeah.
Yes. So
Like the
there's
gum.
no reason that it couldn't be set up for another show because they're very good at that.
I just
Well,
really
go ahead.
like the idea of Batroc the Leaper in the MCU. Like
Yes.
such
yes.
a like why would you pick that character?
On
To
the
get-
on,
Hmm.
not to get too hung up on Echo here. My only thing is that she is a street level character, her basis, and having her be in Hawkeye as her introduction is the best way to do it. It's not like she
Yeah.
had some international cabal of people who use the hand symbol as their symbol. She had the hand on her face. I forget why exactly. It just looked cool because David Mack is a great artist. But I don't know. I don't think you need to have a bigger introduction for her because I think having her on a TV show initially is a better idea than trying to be like she's this big deal and have her across multiple shows. So I think
Yeah.
that's the hand symbol on that mask, like Arlen pointed out, there are multiple people with it. I think it's just something going to be connected to Baron Zemo somehow. I don't know what. Maybe it's going to be a new version of the hand. Like-
I
Sure.
can tell you what people are saying it is.
Go ahead.
Mm.
They are saying that it might be Flag Smasher.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Because
Interesting.
the character is a US agent
Mhm.
villain. And it might be like Flag Smasher as an organization,
I
as
can see
an
that.
anti-nationalist,
I can
which
see that.
plays really hard into what we should be getting with this US agent.
Hmm.
I mean,
Because it's a different actress playing the character that we see.
that sounds like a very much a thing Zemo is puppeteering from behind the
Yep.
scenes type
Yep.
thing.
Yeah. And even
because
him having some control over US agent in one way or another makes total sense.
sure. Yeah.
Because I can't wait to see Bucky kick the ever-loving piss out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm just looking at the Twitter thread. They announced that they aren't recasting Chadwick.
Yeah.
Which is nice to hear.
Yes.
I think the other big thing was all this stuff with She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Tatiana Maslany's confirmed,
Yeah.
and Ruffalo and Roth are going to appear.
Yes.
Which, all right. So, Tatiana, how do you say her name? again?
Maslany.
Tatiana.
Maslany.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how didn't she come out and say, no, those rumors aren't true? Like,
I think she hadn't signed it yet, and she was trying to
yeah, or she might have been under an NDA or something where she couldn't
I
confirm it.
know. It's just, come on.
Oh, I found the one that we've missed that we haven't talked about.
What's that?
What?
Christian Bale confirmed.
Well, I was going
Gore the God
that was the
Killer.
one I was going to bring up next. Yeah, he's confirmed
Okay.
as Gore the
That's
God.
so sick.
I love that so much more than the rumors and theories that he was going to be Mephisto.
No, that's no.
That I hadn't heard that one. The one that I heard a lot was Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah,
Mephisto doesn't really make sense at this point.
Not Thor.
No, not for Thor.
Well, that was. I'm not saying I agreed with it. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's what the rumor was for a little while. But him as Gore the God Butcher. Oh, it makes me so happy that Marvel is like. It's like you've said multiple times, Lou, that Marvel uses their comics as a way to pull ideas for the movies.
Oh yeah, it's like a test market in the best ways because they're basically pulling. Is it like Jason Aaron? Is it his run?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which his Thor run is a thing of beauty. Like it's worth
Didn't
it.
It won like a shit ton of. I feel like it.
Eisner.
Did he win an Eisner? Yeah, I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't gotten to finish it. But yeah, it's a great run, and just those first 12 issues, maybe 24 issues that deal primarily with Gore. But I mean, he shows up later in the series, anyways. But yeah, it's such a good story. Like, and he's such a good villain.
Like the stuff of him just on his planet, just like everything's so fucked around him.
Yes, yeah, and it
explains
it explains why he wants to kill gods, because he hates them with a passion, and it's amazing. And that's kind of a brave thing for Marvel to be doing, to be like, yeah, you know what? There's somebody who wants to kill gods. Let's do it.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense in like I know we don't like Thor 1, but like what they kind of set up the Asgardians as, that they're just kind of space aliens, which I don't mind. I know some people don't like
whatever.
it. But like,
I'm fine with it.
Well, like if you think like they do a thing where like Gore's race like thinks they're actual gods, like we did. Like,
well, even beyond that though, like do what they set up in Ragnarok when Hela breaks apart the mosaic or whatever on the ceiling, and shows that like she and Odin used to be conquerors, and have him be from a race that they conquered. Odin and Hela like basically wiped out. Yeah. Like
so you kind of do Planet Hulk, but with him, but just against the Asgardians.
Sure. Which I mean, it could be. Fun. We don't know what they're gonna do.
We don't even know how much Chris Evans is even, or not Chris Evans. Chris.
He might not be in it at all. He might mostly be in Guardians 4, unless the Christmas special is where they take care of his presence within the Guardians.
Love that that's happening.
Yes. I'm excited for that.
Well, I mean, I think Thor Ragnarok is going to, or not Ragnarok, Love and Thunder is going to be a kind of passing on of the mantle too. With what's her face? Goddamn,
Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman. Thank you. I'm old. I can't remember things. Who are you? Having her becoming She-Thor, the female version, I think is
Lady
definitely.
Thor.
Thank you, Lady Thor. I couldn't remember what the exact phrase.
I think they just call her. She's just Thor.
She is just Thor.
Depending on how much she wants to stick around, we'll see. She might change her mind.
If it's better writing, I could see.
I agree. I think if she really vibes with Taika and she's like, yeah, I want to do like 15 of these, then she'll stick around. I think the other option is she passes the Thor role on to Tessa, who seems to be much more game just in general for all things.
Which is interesting because I think that character is now being called Valkyrie.
Her name is no.
Not Tessa Thompson's character. I think female Thor is now called Valkyrie.
Yeah, she is.
Valkyrie.
Well, that will be weird in the context of the MCU, so they'll probably not do that.
Yeah.
They'll just call her like Thor, and they'll refer to Thor as Odin's son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, they could also retcon the nature of Thor. Like every Thor movie, and every time he appears, how he works and his powers are different. So Who cares?
I have a theory. I think they're going to go with that. Mjolnir is conscious.
Yeah, sentient. Yeah, like they
Yeah.
did in the Aaron run of the comics.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And that it got destroyed, but it reforms and finds the person that's met before that is worthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll give her cancer. I think it would be cool. I think they should. Because it's a core aspect of that character.
Luis Gonzalez. It'd be cool if they gave her cancer.
Hey, yeah.
Like, I don't know if they gave her cancer, but it'd be cool if it did.
Yeah, you can put that. That could be the title of the episode. It'd be cool if they gave her cancer.
Now I'm legally required to. So thanks. Thanks.
Send all your hate mail to young_Kame.
Kame. Yeah. So is there anything else in Marvel we wanted to hit, or did we want to talk a little bit about Star Wars?
Well,
go ahead.
I was going to say there's one other legacy character we missed. I just was flipping through the Twitter. And that's because Ant-Man's adding one too. Because we have Cassie.
Yeah.
Cassie Lang is going to be a character in it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
I think it's just to show like the trend of all of these things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. That's like that was writing on the wall. It's just confirmation of things that we already kind of knew. I just want to make sure that we
talk to me, baby. Arlen. What do you got? You sound like you have something ready to bring up.
You want to talk about the baby?
I mean, they confirmed Chiwetel Ejiofor being in Multiverse of Madness, which I'm not that surprised.
That's not really that shocking.
Oh yeah.
In my head, he wasn't coming back till like 3, but we'll see how much of an.
I would love it that there's just like randomly cuts in the film that flips to him just murdering the shit out of people.
I would love that so much. Him just murdering wizards, just like that would be great.
There has to be a point where he sees somebody's shoes and just goes, "Oh, nice boots," and continues on. No. All right. Nobody's seen kinky boots. All right.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, how hilarious would it be if they cast, what's his name to do a cameo, Harry Potter, and they just have him kill. They just for him to kill him. There's no words exchanged, but he just kills.
No, just wizards in general. Just people who played wizards before.
But they don't even have to say anything. Like, you know what he's doing, and then you just have him like kill him. Like he just like sees him. He's wearing the glasses, so you get around the copyright issues because we don't say it's Harry Potter, but it's just a very funny in joke.
Yeah,
what if Johnny Depp is there?
Well, then you have to get Johnny Depp in. Then you have to cast him and pay him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's the problem there.
Have Gandalf show up too. But he'll be in like a red robe or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Just all of the wizards.
That would actually be a really fun way to like have him dressed like kind of in his sort of Magneto costume, but without the helmet, and have Chiwetel kill him. You're paying homage to two things at once.
That's true. So any other last minute Marvel stuff we wanted to bring up, or did we want to talk a little bit about Star Wars?
I think we talked about all of it. Do we want to talk about Star Wars, or do we want to get, because there wasn't a lot of FX stuff. I was figuring.
Well, I know what you want to talk about, so we might as well bring that up. I'm excited about it too, but you are definitely the fanboy more than I am of this particular person. So go for it.
Yes. Well, also it's just two main FX things that we can talk about. This one real quickly first. They are actually going forward with Why the Last Man, which is okay, cool. That's great. Diane Lane, they announced as a casting choice for a role, so that's
they have her as the lead.
What?
No, but like the lead, quote unquote.
Well, she's starring Diane Lane because that's
she's going to be York's mom.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They didn't announce any other cast for that, so that means that what's his face isn't involved with it anymore. God damn it. Do it guy. Fuck. What's his name?
Shia?
Shia. Yes, thank you.
Oh no, definitely not anymore.
Yeah.
Whoa, wait, when was he involved? I thought you were talking about what's his name from Silicon.
He's been on and off involved for a very long time.
Yeah,
wasn't also canceled from Silicon Valley. He's supposed to be York at one point.
Oh God, no, not T.J. Miller. That would be the
T.J. Miller. He was supposed to be York at one point.
Oh, he would be
That
the worst
what?
Yorick. No,
I think
like
that's when Stars had it or somebody. Or
I don't know.
Cinemax.
I don't know. Shia LaBeouf at the time would have actually been a good choice, but there were a million different things that Shia LaBeouf was supposed to be involved with that never came to fruition
Well, he's now
because
mega
Shia
canceled
LaBeouf.
again.
There's a
Right.
double negative on him doing anything like that ever again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's never gonna
Yeah.
happen. But yeah, no, I'm excited. Why the Last Man's a great series.
Yeah.
Okay, too.
And the other thing Arlen wanted to talk about was the Kardashians' new show, right?
That's what it
Yes.
was. I wanted
Yes.
to. No,
He wanted to implore us to help Joe Exotic get out of jail, like he was doing with Kim Kardashian. Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly. No. So an announcement happened, and I'm pretty sure people could see my fluids from space.
All right.
Well, they're part of the next. They're part of the season. That's what's
Right.
built in.
Yes. Exactly. I am going to plot point in Noah Hawley's Alien TV series, which has gone from
Yes.
never happening as of 2 weeks ago to announced, which is pretty great.
Mhm.
I think we have some sort of manifestation powers.
Well,
They
maybe.
were waiting for Arlen to finish the final season of Legion.
God damn you! I did that like a year ago or some bullshit. It feels like a year ago. But yeah, it does. It's really weird. Was he hinting at things during that deadline interview? I don't know.
Is there a greater like creator and property combination that's ever existed?
It doesn't.
No.
Nothing. No. I can't. I don't know the last time I was this truly excited for something. I really don't know. It was probably Legion. It was probably when I found out Legion was happening. Because this is such a perfect fit. And I didn't want to take up too much of the last show we did with this because it was, well, it's just a thing that's never going to happen. But now that I know that it's going to happen, I am so like fanboying. I am thinking of this frequently. Like, oh, what's he going to do? How much xenomorph is there going to be? How much not?
My thought is because it's called Alien, I think he's going to go back to the first movie where it's going to be very hard horror.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's what if it's just one alien and it
that's
what I'm saying.
thinking.
Yeah. I think it's one alien. It's going to be like almost strict horror, like but in space. What the first one is.
I think it could. I think that's gonna be there. We kind of talked about this a little bit, me and Eric, last time. I think that's gonna be more. The people are gonna be the problem. But every alien movie has that to some extent. It's just that we don't see as much of it. I think that the plots of the season-long arcs will be there's this thing that is going on, and there's somebody from Weyland-Yutani or some other, corporation or government, and that person is sort of an antagonist, and we're following characters who are the equivalent of truck drivers in space as they try to deal with it.
What's his name from Aliens?
Yes.
The one who just got he just got killed in that recent episode of The Mandalorian.
I think
the guy who played Hicks.
No. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the shithead. He's in Stranger Things also. From Mad About You.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Paul
yes.
Reiser.
That type of
Paul
thing.
Reiser. Yeah. Like if you're putting him with the cast from the first movie,
yes,
would be real interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think it'll be that type of thing. And then in the last episode or two, there's going to be a xenomorph that just fucking kills the entire cast, and I'm in. An
alternate idea could be, and this could really work for one of his, I think, biggest strengths is like the human interaction, like we've seen in Fargo, would be have a group of Marines that are on a planet that has a singular alien, and it's them going to see, like, there's a colony that they've lost contact with because of this alien running amok, and that would then be able to introduce the various aspects of humanity that don't work with each other within this platoon. and then also have the horror element of the alien in the background getting closer and closer and closer as the season goes on.
Exactly.
That's just the idea I just had.
I mean, I think he will do some version of both. Like, I think because it's a show and because of the way that he does Fargo, I think he's going to explore all of it. He's going to do. I don't think it's going to be following a singular character for multiple seasons. I don't want that. I think that if there's a crutch that the Alien movies have, it's following Ripley for every single movie.
Oh, that's the problem, because after 2, yes.
Yeah.
Like, I think there was a certain point where they should have maybe pivoted to a different main character.
After 2?
Yes. Yes, probably.
Well, that's the Alien has the same problem as the Terminator series, where the first one is a horror movie, they change genres, the sequel's amazing, and then everybody fucks everything up there from then on.
Right, because nobody knows what genre to go with in each of the sequels.
To go like, so Eric gave his, what I think would be interesting is if it's like a space station and they bring somebody and there's a representative, because having read the Alien 3 the alternate script as a comic that came out last year.
Oh yeah.
Right.
If they were to bring, like, if you have your guy there, like from the company, but they bring an egg onto the ship and it's just like dealing with the isolation of, it's kind of like It. Not It, The Thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
The Thing, but you also have a corporate douche and then this like ticking time bomb with this alien egg, where we as the audience know what's going to happen, but we don't know how.
Again, that could totally be a thing.
Yeah.
Or he could subvert all of our expectations and have it be musical theater the whole time.
I mean, or it could just be like,
if there's a Xenomorph doing like the can, would I be surprised? No.
I mean, if he leans the Legion direction and goes for insanity, I'm gonna be there. But I am hoping for the Fargo direction of like very closed down, very quiet, like not a lot of stuff, but when things go crazy, they go really crazy. That's what I'm hoping for. But
what if he did this just because he got really into Among Us?
It could be.
Well, oh my god, I love that so much.
I was just gonna say though, like on what Arlen was just saying, all of you, because Arlen and I've already watched it, should watch season 4 of Fargo, and I feel like that's a really good indication of how he can mix horror, human drama, and even elements of comedy so well together. Like season 4, I think, is like his masterpiece when it comes to television, and if he can bring that same level of writing to Alien, it will be possibly the best sci-fi show that he's ever been involved with / has been on FX. Which
I'm gonna get canceled from the show, but I've not seen any.
Nobody but Eric has seen Fargo. Well, you start, Hunter started a little bit.
I'm taking my time because it's like I want.
That's fair.
And if I want, I'm gonna fall off.
I think that we've cleared out some shows like big dramas. Like I can get Mrs. Dr. Gonzalez to watch it.
I think you can. The thing about Fargo is that every season is disconnected from one another.
Well, the first 2 are connected, but yes.
There are it's you get a lot of like MCU recognition moments. Like that's one of my favorite things is a character will show up and you'll be like, wait, is that the young version of this character from this season? You'll have a lot of those moments, but none of the plots really are directly tied to one another. It's a show with this larger universe. There's sort of supernatural stuff that occasionally happens. I do agree that 4 is a good.
I didn't know that.
Because
the new season I think is the easiest to sell the Mrs. on because Chris Rock.
Well, I mean, first of all, has she seen the film Fargo, and is she into it? Is she not? Is it outside of her?
No idea.
Okay. I think that's a good place to start. I know Hunter hadn't seen the movie when he started the show, but I do think watching the movie first is a good idea and going from there.
And then not expecting anything like the movie. What was that, Hunter?
Yes.
How does she feel about Minnesota or like any of the?
How does she feel about deep, dark, cold winter?
Yeah, how does she feel
we lived in New Jersey. We're from New Jersey, so we get some cold winters, but
that's not the same thing.
That's not the same as
I know.
Minnesota. You've never
No.
been in the Minnesota.
Oh, no.
winter.
Like I
being
live
that
on what I
she's
call
white,
the
like,
edge of the
should be more
Midwest.
comfortable with it.
Maybe,
Hmm.
possibly.
I will say probably watching season 4 to decide if you want to see any of the other seasons might actually be a good
Sure.
idea, because that is
Yeah.
the most approachable. Because the first 2, I didn't watch much of the third. The first 2 are great, and they are the only 2 so far that are really kind of directly connected, because the second season takes place like
Mhm.
20 or 30 years before the first season, maybe longer.
Mhm.
Is one of
And-
those is the Ewan McGregor one, right?
That's the third
Ewan
season.
McGregor is the third season.
Okay.
Mhm. Second
Um,
season is
Yeah.
Night Owl. Fuck, what's his face? I
Uh,
can't remember the actor's name.
fuck.
Yeah, Patrick
You just,
something.
Patrick
you just
Wilson.
triggered me by.
Patrick
yeah,
Wilson, yes.
Patrick Wilson. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he's quite good in it. But yeah, I would say watch the 4th season if you're going to try anything initially,
Mhm.
because the first season definitely feels like you're kind of getting a very rough version of what Noah Hawley does, because he's kind of fucking around and
Yes.
experimenting with stuff, but it's not quite as good as
Mhm.
it could be, even though I think it's
It's all,
phenomenal.
yeah. It's also clear that he hadn't worked in television yet.
Mhm.
Because I do believe that was his first time around. And if you're gonna watch the shows, I do say watch season 1 first, because
Okay,
it is so like not fully formed and
Yeah.
kind of cheap looking.
It's got Billy
Huh?
Bob in it as
Yes.
scary dude.
Okay.
And it's
As
got
like the
Bilbo.
scariest character ever.
Yeah.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know.
yeah,
All I have to say
it's-
is, if you've ever seen Peaky Blinders, my wife's favorite character in the show is Arthur.
Actually, Peaky Blinders might be. You saying okay? I think Peaky Blinders is actually an indication that you and your wife might really get into Fargo.
Yeah, I think.
Oh,
the thing about Fargo to know is, though, it starts very slow, and again,
I think that's
when
not
you
a
get into
problem.
the
It's the type of. I think a lot of people have this is like certain type of violence, and scary stuff bother. I can watch anything. I've watched the worst trash on earth.
So Fargo is not. I'm trying to find a way to say this properly. It's more like it's not scary in like a creepy, gross out way, or like a.
Oh, that's like she watched the pilot of Walking Dead and she's like, never again.
No,
it's not that. No.
Yeah, like she doesn't like hyper violence. She can't do, and like hardcore horror. Like I don't think I can get her to watch Lovecraft County.
It's more
like I said
unnerving.
before we got on mic, she did not like Perry Mason because of the
that's
violence.
I can kind of understand parts of it's more just unnerving. It's like stuff that's very visceral.
And the supernatural elements that they throw in are very surface level. Like they're there, but they don't take over a whole lot of your mental retail space.
She has very interesting taste because she hates all things Lord of the Rings. She likes Harry Potter-ish.
Okay.
She really liked Game of Thrones until towards the end.
Wow.
Oh, you like mean the rest of humanity?
Yeah. She really hates like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like I don't know what it is about those.
Well, one of those I understand. The other one.
Also, my mother-in-law is a giant nerd in that like kind of sense and loves Lord of the Rings.
Oh, okay.
And that stuff and loves Harry Potter. So literally our joke is like when we go to my in-laws' house, there's one of 4 movies on the TV. There's a Harry Potter, probably Deathly Hallows, Lord of the Rings, The Help, or We Want a Zoo.
You just made a lot of things come into picture very clearly for me. A lot of things make a lot of sense. This is the equivalent of your parent really being into sports and you hating sports as a result. It's that thing. It's the, oh, I want my kid to play football, and it's the last thing that they ever want to do, but for nerd shit. So
Well,
okay, that
so-
that completely explains it.
So
Yes.
before we turn this into the Lose Wife cast, do we want to start
Yeah.
talking about Star Wars at all?
Well, I do just want to close out I'd want to give you credit for your season 4 comparison. That's a very good comparison. The way that the paranormal thing in season 4 works out is a great application for how I would want them to treat the xenomorph.
Yep.
Very background, just creepy moments, and then occasionally entering the scene to, change the plot
Fully
a little
reveal.
bit.
Yeah.
Yes, just these moments that are very eerie and very creepy and very gothic, and then back to the background. I would be so very into that, because the way that he handled him is just
Yeah.
so good.
Perfectly. And
Yes.
it wasn't anything you ever expected either. Each time you're just like, oh,
Right.
oh, okay. So
And I actually liked him more than the other things, actually. And I talked at length about how much I like the paranormal stuff in season 3, but he's so subtle that I didn't even realize that that's what he was at first, until they explain the backstory.
Exactly what it was. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it's like, oh, this is so good. So yeah, we can go into the Star Wars now if we want to.
Yeah, so Alu, I know this is definitely your bag the most. I mean, I enjoy Star Wars, but a lot of this is stuff that hits your sweet spot.
Yeah, and I think it's anybody like if we push the movies over to the side, we're just gonna push them over there. If you've been enjoying Mandalorian, like everyone that's watching it, you're very excited by their announcements.
Sure.
Because we got 2 spin-offs and basically a Defenders-esque thing teased. Although we don't know how some of these. Well, one of them we know is. So we're getting an Ashoka spin-off, which how many people are surprised? Because they got Rosario Dawson to play. Well, she's been wanting to play her, so like, yeah.
But she was someone I would see in interviews in the past and be like, oh yeah, I'm a nerd, I'm into this, and this. I'm like, you're saying that because it's the popular thing to say, and now it's like, oh no, you actually do seem to really be. And I'm not trying to be like the gatekeeper nerd. I'm just like, I know that was a popular thing for people to say once MCU started to kick off. But she's putting,
or even
her
directors of popular DC films.
Yeah, I have a fun quote from him later. Anyways, she's putting her money where her mouth is. So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and we're getting the Rangers of the New Republic, which I guess at some point, who knows how it'll still end up, is going to be a Cara Dune show, but
possibly depending on how certain things go. We'll see.
Yeah, which also Rosario Dawson has had some similar issues in her past as well.
Not quite as blatant, but
no. And being someone, I'm a sports guy. I watch MMA, or I haven't in a while, but like I did. I know Gina Carano for a long, know of her. I'm not surprised by her views. Like it is.
I'm not either because it's I feel
sports
like
people tend to be very conservative.
Well, but particularly in that case, that is an issue that MMA has kind of had a quagmire about for a while. And I'm not really shocked by it. I'm not really angry, I guess, at Gina Carano for her views. I understand if other people
done anything insanely egregious.
She's just been very not.
I don't think
not
she's
kind.
I don't think she's like. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm sure someone will. But I don't think she said anything that would be like fireable. I guess. I mean, her views are awful. Don't get me wrong, but it's
she kind of goofed on her Twitter page about like pronouns, and then she's been very anti-mask stuff.
Yeah.
Recently. Right. It's not like she's she's not
Also,
defending the child camps that currently exist near the border or anything like that. She's just been very dismissive and kind of in bad faith, not very professional, but nothing that I agree we can fire her for.
Yeah.
So
and I
yeah,
would say based on like other things Disney's worked with, like Mulan, they've had dealings with more real world issues.
Sure.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So, anyways, the actual show.
Yeah.
Something that I don't know why I got onto this, but I was watching a video that suggested that Ahsoka, and I guess this was actually something that was kind of announced. I didn't actually see the thing of this, that they are probably tying back into Mandalorian, and that they're sort of setting up an arc between the three shows.
Yes, they said that they're going to do something where the three shows will kind of meet Defenders style.
Okay.
Right. And the speculation I saw was that the sort of big bad for all three shows would be Thrawn at some point.
Which they teased in the episode and makes all of the sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And would lead back to a character from Rebels making a live action first time appearance too.
Yeah,
which which based on like a lot of the other things that got dropped are in the exact same time period that Rebels takes place in.
If I may, real quick, I'm kind of excited for that show, The Acolyte, because it sounds like it's just something that they're just trying out in the Star Wars universe.
Yes, so that's the one that's in a completely different timeline of everything else. So the Acolyte is taking place after the Old Republic era, but before the Skywalker. It's that in between.
Oh, okay.
It's the Second Republic.
The stuff they had kind of talked about where the movies might potentially go.
Yes. So it's not. So the Old Republic, for non-Star Wars nerds, the Old Republic is the Mandalorian Wars. That's the height of Mandalore. That's all that stuff. Go play the game, read the comic by Dark Horse. Fucking awesome. The High Republic era is the next era after the fall of the Old Republic, which then falls, and then we get the Republic that exists in the Skywalker saga.
Well, and that's I could have sworn, and maybe I'm incorrect, maybe they said Old Republic, but I could have sworn they talked about the High Republic as where they were thinking about for the movies going, and it sounds like they pivoted to TV shows.
Well, I think they both might be true. Yeah, I think that I would.
What's the shitheads from Game of Thrones?
Weiss.
Well, they're not the ones doing it. Somebody else is.
But like, are the D&D? Is that what they're called, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's that. I mean, that's the name.
They were supposed to be playing in one of these timelines, which is now gone.
I know that the last time I heard any news about a Star Wars movie before Thursday, was it Thursday?
End of time.
The end of time. The last time I heard anything about that, it was the trilogy set in the High Republic era. So I think that that's still going forward, and I wouldn't be surprised if this show exists as a way to ease people in to the idea of the High Republic.
Okay.
And it's kind of the era that's had the least written about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there's a lot with the Old Republic, and there's a lot with the Skywalker, and it's like, well, there was something in between. Okay.
One could argue almost too much of the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna segue into the next thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Probably the biggest news I would say is the Obi-Wan show, and when the return of Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader.
Yeah. I would say that and Patty, but we can get to
that
her
and Patty.
after.
Yeah, we'll get there because Patty's the only movie. These are all. I'll say all the stuff that we're going to talk about for the most part is all shows for Disney Plus,
which I'm okay with, honestly.
Now, my question before we go into this is: I'm guessing Disney had all these planned as shows beforehand, but it just seems really convenient that they dropped all this information shortly after Warner Brothers / AT&T brought up hey, all this stuff for 2021 is coming straight to HBO Max, and Disney Plus is like, hold my beer. Just
I've been there.
And I get it. These shows have been planned for a while. but it just
Yes.
the timing is almost perfect.
Well,
for
Disney almost did.
I think that there's a point there where it's like some of the stuff they were going to hold to the vest. Some of the stuff they maybe weren't going to tell us about yet. And I do think that they might have said, let's throw that out there. Let's put a logo together, because some of these are literally just logos.
Yeah.
Star Wars Visions is just a logo.
Which, is that the one that's the Animatrix but Star Wars?
Yes.
Okay.
So some of these, it's like there's nothing
they have no
there.
Attached to it.
Like Lando is literally just, we're doing the Lando movie that you all wanted years ago.
A show. It's a show.
Oh, it's a show. Which you know what?
They said where it's a show and both guys are in it.
Is he going to fuck a robot? That's all I want.
If he doesn't fuck the robot, we need to riot.
My theory is that the show is old Lando telling stories of his youth. And that's how we're getting Billy D.
That's the best possible way to do it, because
and we're going to see how he gets that daughter that we don't understand is his daughter.
Lou, why did you have to say that out loud? You son of a bitch.
I'm several beers in.
Okay.
Good stuff. Cassie and Andor
finishing
show.
Glass 3.
Anyways, prequel show teaser trailer.
We didn't actually talk about Anakin coming back. We've talked in the chat.
He's coming back. Hello.
Yes. He's coming back.
Way. Yeah.
He's gonna be a voice, and he's gonna be like a dream projection for the most part. I think
we might get someone in a suit.
Yeah.
Based on how much Vader has been used in
I think we'll get a lot of Vader. I don't think we'll get very much Hayden in the suit. We may get a couple shots of him in his little dome thing. Yes. Well, no, the dome that he was using to talk to the Emperor. Remember?
The orangutan-faced Emperor. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, the orangutan. We might see some of him on his fucking Lord of the Rings castle, because of course he has one. What?
Before we get too much into this, I do want to address the elephant in the room. I don't think he's a bad actor. I don't
think he's a bad actor either.
He never did anything. He was never in a good movie.
No.
But here's the thing: George Lucas gave
fucking mind. Yeah.
He gave 0% of those actors good direction, because the one thing that you can always hold against him, no matter what, is that he does not know how to talk to actors. That's a thing that every actor who's ever worked with him has said many, many times. And
I wrote the lines. Read the lines.
Huh?
I wrote the lines.
Yes. Well, no, it's this is exactly what he has said to people. Faster and more intense. Just faster and more intense. He said that multiple times to Harrison Ford, Mark Hamill, and Carrie Fisher. Faster and more intense.
It's why the best Star Wars movie is the one he didn't really write or direct.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last shot.
Yep.
I'm excited if all the rumors had held true to what Obi-Wan is going to be, which is basically Jimbo.
Yeah.
Well, and they said that it's 10 years after Jedi.
Yes.
So it is in the realm of Rebels, which goes back to my earlier point.
Wait, how would it be 10 years after Jedi if Obi-Wan's been dead?
No, it's 10 years.
10 years after.
It's 10 years after Revenge. Which is like before Rebels. I was very confused the other day because I mixed up, because there's 15 years between Return and Force Awakens, I think. So the 15 or 20. There's 30 years between Revenge and New Hope.
Yes. I think this takes place kind of dead in the middle, and Rebels takes place.
Well, 10 years is like a third of the way through, but yes, I get what you're saying.
And Rebels, because when Leia shows up, Leia's like 15.
Yes.
I think that's like in season 2.
Well, because she's supposed to be... No, she's the same age as Luke. So she's, She
might be even younger, because like she's supposed to be kind of like a kid when she shows up.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't have to go too deep into Rebels, but anyways,
Yeah.
I'm very into this. Based off of everything we've heard before. Having Hayden back is interesting, mostly because Ewan has said that he's excited about it. That for me, I'm
guessing he fought
I'm
for him
curious
to be
to
back.
see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be interesting. I mean, I was already gonna watch this show. I'm gonna watch most of these shows, even if I am kind of not at the highest
Ambivalent?
level of love for these things.
The only one of these things that we talked about that I'm like, what would be interesting is I'm surprised we're not getting more Bo-Katan stuff.
Say what?
I really liked her.
She might be throughout all three of those shows.
That would
like she might be a main character in Ahsoka. That's a high possibility.
She could be.
And I wouldn't be surprised if she's. I mean, think of the way that she was used in Rebels. She was like a supporting character in season 4.
Because she's an antagonist in Clone Wars. I don't remember what season. And then she becomes like kind of like a side character, and then she's a supporting character in Rebels.
Yeah, I mean she's almost one of the main characters in one of the seasons. Like
a show to explain how she loses the thing would be interesting.
Oh, okay. I mean, I think we'll see flashbacks and stuff.
Oh, I think we're gonna find out how that happened.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely get answers to that stuff.
All right. Well,
Arlen nerding out. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Cassie and Amber prequel show. We got a teaser. Which looks fucking awesome.
I've been hard for that for like 2 years now, so injected directly into my fucking veins.
Yeah, and if you were hard for that, you basically blew every fluid out of your body with the biggest news.
Yes.
And that's Kathleen Kennedy, or not Kathleen Kennedy.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Sorry, I'm reading like the little article I'm looking at, and it had Kathleen Kennedy's name first. I'm like, that's
you confused your mid-50s to late 60s age women.
Yes. Patty Jenkins is directing Rogue Squadron. So buy your N64s. Like your cartridge.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's huge. Like, I am shocked that she's actually doing this show. Like,
you are going to be in this.
Is this the biggest middle finger to Warner Brothers?
I wonder if this is somehow further connected to the Snyder Cut. I don't know.
The one thing I think it was Siler or John Scott says like, "Oh, you guys get James Gunn for one movie, we'll take Adam Jacobs for a movie."
Right, that's what I'm thinking of. Like, I remember when that happened, I said, "Is this sort of their version of allowing artists to just go back and forth?" And I wouldn't be surprised if it is, because these are the two biggest companies in the industry right now, and sharing names like this is only beneficial for both of them, you would think.
All the how much Patty Jenkins is getting all of the monies.
Yes.
Yes. And also, I hadn't actually watched her teaser video that she did of her on roller skates, which was very fun.
Her on roller skates, like skating to like a jet and putting on a rebel helmet.
Yes, that was. But the thing of her saying, I had always wanted to do a movie about fighter pilots, but I just never found a story that I liked. Too bad George Lucas didn't pitch a Red Tails.
I was gonna say, like, George peers out of the corner, like, have I told you about my
what I remember? Not George Lucas, but remember when Steven Spielberg was going to do that Black Hawks movie?
Oh, no.
Yes, he was. He was going to do that. I wonder if she was almost going to do it.
Oh, you mean and shortly after he said that comic book movies were a fad? Yep.
Right.
It was literally like a week before that.
It feels like it was exactly a week before that. But her saying that this is something that she's wanted to do for a long time, it made me even more excited.
I wonder if she played the games. Like, she's kind of in the age range. She might have been like a young adult playing the game.
I mean, there's no reason that she couldn't be like a massive Star Wars fan. Yeah. I don't know if she's like
she's only like 15 years younger than Eric. So like
I'm 42, so you're not that far off, really.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I mean, I like games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it shows that like Disney is, I don't want to say listening to fans because no, they're not. Fuck you.
No.
But they know what's going to sell to a wide audience, and all of these
Right.
announcements are just like, and there's a little bit of something for everybody.
I mean,
Be it cynically minded or even from the people who are the creatives behind it, being like, no, this is something that will do well for this particular aspect of the fandom.
I would say they're on a tightrope, and they're walking that tightrope very carefully. They know that there's a large segment of people who are very angry about Rise of Skywalker. But if they try to be adventurous again, a lot of those people are suddenly going to turn around and be like, I really love Rise of Skywalker, even though I just said that I hated it. So they're trying to keep as many people happy as they can.
Are you implying people have takes just to have takes?
No,
I'm saying that maybe people are very fickle and they don't know what they mean until they say it out loud.
I think you're saying that people are reactionary, and I don't think that's true.
Right.
I think you're saying people are stupid and we shouldn't listen to them.
Yeah, especially about video games and how everyone is wrong but me. I think that's.
I mean,
and
James Wan always said you shouldn't.
TV shows.
Yeah, but it basically, if you couldn't tell from the way we kept going on and on about things, like Disney isn't fucking around, and there's a little bit of something for everybody. That's
I would literally, the last Star Wars thing they're doing, which I think everybody already knew, is the spin-off for Clone Wars, Bad Batch, which is the best thing that came out of Clone Wars, the new season.
Those
yeah,
fucking awesome.
The fucked up clones are getting a spin-off.
Like their Star Wars announcements again. Like some of it, I agree with people who are like, it's some of the safest choices possible. I think, but I don't know. There's some stuff in here that is kind of weird and kind of interesting. We'll see. I think we need to wait till some of this stuff comes out before we say that they're just trying to cater to the hardest of core of fans. They are doing that, but maybe not to the degree that I think some people want to say.
Honestly, I don't see them doing anything wild until they do all these.
Yeah,
it's a thing. Like, well, people are pissed off about Last Jedi, so might as well give them what they want. Maybe, yeah.
I think people are pissed off about the new trilogy in general at this point. Yeah. I think the turnaround of people being like, fuck the new trilogy altogether, but still being able to say that they like Last Jedi as a movie, that's coming very soon. We are approaching that precipice. Once we get more Star Wars that most of us agree upon is good, other than Mandalorian, I think that will come.
Yeah, but I think with that being said, we should probably wrap it up since we've been going for a bit now, almost 2 hours. I am Eric_Fedor on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, there's pictures of dogs and foods and cats and comics. You can also find me floating around the Phantom Zone and doing things on there and talking and maybe not talking and just reading and judging you silently. The two things I wanted to end on were it's our favorite director, something he had to say about comics. I had a buddy who tried getting me into normal comic books, but I was all like, no one is having sex or killing each other. This isn't really doing it for me. I was a little broken that way. So when Watchmen came along, I was like, this is more my scene.
Oh, no.
The man is directing Justice League, or did direct Justice League.
Did he actually say that?
Yes, he did.
No, that's a thing Zack Snyder said like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I've been angry about it ever since.
Yeah. Oh my God. And the last thing I wanted to say is Cyberpunk 2077 is great. A little bit I've been able to play. Playing it on Xbox One X. Don't listen to everybody on the internet who's bitching and moaning about it. They expect it to look like the trailers. And if you're trying to play it on an Xbox One or a PS4 fat, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're playing on a 7-year-old system and you expect it to look as good as some of the renders.
I'm sorry that you are under the impression that thing can run anything that game is doing visually.
I'm sorry that you believe that target renders are what games are going to end up looking like. And yeah, that's it. Let's let Lou go because he needs to get off because I'm sure there's puppy issues of some sort.
Yes. So yeah, rate, review, follow all the stuff, comics, show, movie show. We're gonna watch Wolverine Origins, blah blah blah. Follow my puppy on Instagram and on TikTok. It is Notorious Rose BG. There are lots of videos.
She's
and
adorable.
I am surprised Zack Snyder's favorite comic book writer is not Mark Millar. I feel like they're a match made in heaven.
No one has shown him that yet. Don't do it. He'll be in something.
Don't. If you do that, the universe crumbles in on itself.
I want to see Mark Millar. I mean, I want to see Zack Snyder direct a scene of someone fucking a dolphin.
No, that's Garth Ennis. What's going to happen?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what's going to happen is it's going to be Jonah Hill who ends up doing Mark Millar films.
Oh, you're saying that like Zack Snyder's Kick-Ass like trilogy would not work? Actually, Zack Snyder's Wanted works, I think.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm gonna head out because I'm gonna get killed. Bye, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, dude.
So
go ahead.
All right.
Who's next?
Follow me on social media. Blah 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 blah. You're wrong about video games always.
Yes.
It.
And hey, guess what? Last of Us 2 and Ghost of Tsushima weren't all that great.
Yeah. Congratulations on making Neil Druckmann a insufferable asshole. Thanks, everyone.
Yep. Good job.
Yeah, I don't have much to plug, so I'll just use my plug to say the Zodiac Killer was a fucking nerd, and I hope he died in a fucking locker. I hope he was shoved into that locker so hard that he had a heart attack. Fuck him, and anybody who like tries to make him seem like this boogeyman, he was not. That's it. Bye.
Follow me at young_Kame. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Those two sucks.